Hey, it is going to be maybe a stormy night out there. You want to definitely pay attention to the weather because things look pretty calm out there right now. Sky 5 in Weslaco shows what is a kind of a partly to mostly cloudy day, but the radar is still verifying that too with dry conditions across the entire valley. You don't see anything out there on the First 1-5 Doppler network right now. We'll kind of be watching to the north, though. I think as we go through this evening and tonight, once we start to see storms develop, they will likely be north of the valley, and those storms starting to come down to the south. So get ready for what could be some storms blowing up in the hill country and then out in these areas of Mexico and near and west of Laredo. Anything that forms out there has a chance to move basically straight our direction late tonight. So we're talking maybe at the earliest 2, 3 in the morning, but it may take until almost sunrise in some areas to start to see the storms get here. So I drew a little line of the rain chances. The rest of today running at about 20%. You see that line hovers around the 20% number through today, and then that dashed line in the middle of your screen right there, that's midnight. So once we get toward midnight, rain chances start to increase. I think the best chance for big storms and more widespread storms will be closer to maybe 3 in the morning, 2 or 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning towards sunrise. And you see how high rain chances are in the morning hours, especially up through about noon on Tuesday. And there could be some severe storms in there with large hail and strong winds. I think strong winds may be one of the higher wind or the higher threats for severe weather with this. Storms tonight and Tuesday across the area, and the best chance at the earliest to see maybe a decent thunderstorm, decent sized thunderstorm be midnight, but as I said, probably the severe threat wouldn't kick in until maybe more like 2 or 3 in the morning at the earliest, and then continue through the morning hours on Tuesday. Heavy rain could also fall in spots. There is enough moisture in the air that some areas could easily see 2 or 3 or 4 inches of rain in spots, not everywhere, but you want to watch out because if it all comes at once, that could create some flash flooding. And then still a small threat for large hail, and strong winds might be the bigger threat, as I mentioned, as these storms kind of could form into a line and move across the area. So the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center still has all of the valley and even all the way up into the hill country under a slight risk of severe storms tonight. And if you look at the scale on top, that's the second from the left, which is the second from the lowest, you could say. Right there, you see the yellow indicates a slight risk. Marginal is the category below that, and so we're one step up from the bottom. But it means still that some areas could see severe storms. We're not expecting widespread storms everywhere, but if they do occur, large hail we put up in about the low end of the moderate threat there in the yellow for large hail, strong winds, and even some flooding rain in spots, especially if you get hit in an area that had some rain last night. And this is why we always pay attention to storms in the springtime. I've showed you this a few times before. If you look at all the reports of wind and hail from those years 1996 to 2017, 37% of them occur in May. This is by far the stormiest month in terms of wind and hail across the valley. So here we go with the setup. Here is future tracking. It shows a couple of isolated showers or maybe even a very weak storm could pop up as we warm up today, but we're talking very sparse rain today during the daytime. Late tonight, you see after midnight, we'll be watching storms off to the west. The first round shows on this model kind of fading away before it gets here, but then once the more unstable air and disturbances get here late tonight, we could start to see bigger rain and thunderstorms you see come down from the north. And this computer model, probably one of the slowest of them, it kind of keeps the heavier rain and storms holding back until maybe about 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. If they do speed up, we could see storms a little before that, just before sunrise. But really watch any time as you get toward 2, 3, 4 in the morning towards sunrise, and then during the morning hours tomorrow. At any point, we may be watching for storms to come in from the northwest. And once that happens, probably just be one surge of storms for a few hours. And then if there is anything left behind it in the afternoon, it would be much lighter. So the First 1-5 AccuWeather forecast today, highs near 91. Eventually here, partly sunny skies gradually taking over. Again, you may see a little shower or a weak storm just pop up randomly later today as we heat up to about that 91 degrees. But by tonight, that's the better thunderstorm chance. But again, it could occur very late tonight in some areas. And some of you may not see storms until 4 or 5 or 6 in the morning, closer to sunrise. And then the First 1-5 AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Highs could drop off tomorrow. It may stay in the 80s if the clouds hang in all day, especially with the rain around in the morning. Then Wednesday and Thursday, we'll show you the reasons why coming up later this hour, but we may get back into hardly any rain Wednesday and Thursday. And then the weekend rain chances kind of depend on where this storm system across Texas kind of hangs out or drifts around, we still may have at least maybe a 30, 40, 50% chance of a few showers or storms popping up over the weekend. But by far right now, the greatest threat for storms and severe weather out of all those days is centered around very late tonight and Tuesday morning. So that's what we'll be focusing on, tracking with you here throughout the afternoon, evening, and your first 1-5 forecast and here on Channel 5 News at noon.